Howdy folks, I'm Funny Friends, fancifully feasting on festive foods.
I'm Amber.
And here are more festive foods for us to feast on. Because we're all friends here. Right, Amber?
Yes.
Of course we are. Oh, and folks, don't forget, we have a live stream tomorrow. So make sure to check the end of the video for more details. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Telling My Boyfriend That My Brother and I Are Not Biologically Related? I'm a 26-year-old female, and my half-brother M and I are not biologically related. I found this out at age 16, but nothing in our family's dynamic changed, and it's not something that we really talk about. My boyfriend Dan and I have been together for a year, and found this out over Christmas. We visited my family, and he has since been really weird about it. He says that first and foremost, he's mad that I never told him. I don't see why it would matter, but he says it's something that you would normally share with a partner after being together as long as we have, and he didn't think that we had any secrets. I don't think that this is a secret, or even an omission. It's not some dark family history that you get told once and you have to take an oath. It's an ancillary bit of information that is either relevant or not. No one treats M any differently now that we know, and my dad always knew and didn't care, so why would I go around advertising it? Dan says that he looks at my relationship with M totally differently now. He says that he feels a bit weird about how he's observed us behaving, now that he knows that we're not even related. We are not full-blood siblings, so I don't know what he's talking about. He says that there's a part of him that's wondering if I didn't tell him, so that it would make our lack of boundaries less of a red flag. Dan is not jealous or controlling person in the least, so this has me quite shocked. He seems really worried and hurt about it, and I'm wondering if this is a big deal and I'm just desensitized because it's my own situation. My mother has warned me about being close with M being a red flag to guys, so now I'm second guessing if this really does look weird from the outside, like I was hiding it. The reaction is so out of character for Dan that I'm really starting to feel like I messed up, but at the same time, I also don't get why this is a big deal that we don't share blood. Edit, because I saw a few people asking about what my mother said. She's a bit conservative, so I think that she's overreacting. But this whole thing just reminded me. She mentioned at the time when M and I were living together, and said that men might be uncomfortable because we're roommates. And M is protective of me. We also have matching tattoos, which my mother says is weird. But she also just hates that I have a tattoo, so I don't take that seriously. And that he gave me a Cartier love bracelet that I wear all the time. Also, apparently he has a habit of touching my neck that she finds weird. I say apparently because yes, he has done this sometimes to steer me in a crowded room or signal if we're in a social situation, the same way you would nudge someone under the table to get their attention. But I don't consider it a habit. Edit 2, when Dan said lack of boundaries, he means that I tell M a lot of things and ask for his advice a lot. He does the same thing with me. It's not really related to anything physical. For anyone asking how we are meant to be related, my dad presented M as his son from his short-lived marriage to his ex. M is 9 years older than me, so we thought that we were half-siblings. It turns out that his mother and father had separated by the time he was conceived, but my dad went along with M being his son because he wanted a child. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. This is a really strange hang-up. Their behavior either is creepy or it isn't creepy. Like, the fact of them being related or not related doesn't really change things here, I feel like. Like, they grew up together. They are siblings. They have that sibling bond, even if they're not blood related. Like, blood isn't what makes you family.
Yeah, I think that this is a situation that OP's boyfriend is overreacting to. If OP had a platonic friend and they did the same kind of things, I don't think many people would really care unless you're one of those people who believe that men and women can't be friends. And that's really how OP's boyfriend is coming across. Like, oh, you can't possibly just be friends with this individual.
Yeah, how dare you confide in your brother? Like, I find it so weird, this assumption that you shouldn't confide in family members who are a different gender from you because clearly that means you have the hots for them.
So I think that OP's boyfriend really needs to think about this and reflect on this, potentially go into therapy if he can't really accept it. And there isn't any reason to believe that OP and their brother are having any kind of, relations in any way, shape, or form. Now, if there were Other more serious red flags, like if they were like literally making out in front of everyone, right? I mean, at that point in time, yeah, you might want to say something about that, right? Oh, this is just how we greet each other. No, that's not how you greet each other. So I think that this is just a strange situation in the respect that he needs to really respect that OP and their brother are just brother and sister and have a relationship that's brotherly and sisterly.
And honestly, it would be better if more siblings had close relationships instead of antagonistic
Mm-hmm.
ones. Like, I think it's a really good thing that they can rely on each other.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Eating at Subway Without My Wife's Permission? Hello, folks. I've never used Reddit before, so take it easy on me. A few of my younger colleagues suggested that I could post here, so here as it goes. I'm a 52-year-old male, and I have been on an out-of-town work trip for the past few days. With 6 kids, the holiday season usually drains my coffers. And with the general cost of living rising, financially, it just makes a lot of sense. Yesterday afternoon, during my lunch break, I called my lovely wife to check on her and the kids. The call was pretty standard and pretty straightforward up until when my wife asked me what I was eating. Without thinking, I said Subway. For as long as I can remember, my wife has loathed Subway. She has many reasons, quality of food in her opinion, and customer service, for the way that she feels, but they honestly always seem trivial to me. I quite like their food, but my wife's influence has caused all of her children, except for our oldest one, to feel the same way as her. Once I told her, she was surprised, to say the very least. She started listing all the reasons why I should not be eating it, and even went on Google to the hospital where I was working and pointed out how there were other restaurants in the area. I wouldn't say that we were arguing about it. It was more of a lively conversation than I would normally expect people to have about where they eat. The conversation ended with her saying that she would prefer me not to eat there. I will admit that I was a bit surprised by this. So I said something along the lines of, Honey, I don't think that's reasonable for me to be asking you where I should be eating. She backtracked a bit and denied trying to dictate where I could eat. However, she immediately followed this up by saying that she would appreciate if we discussed future instances like this beforehand. I told her that I thought that there wasn't anything really to discuss, and she seemed upset with this. My break was ending, so I had to leave, and we said our goodbyes. About 20 minutes after our call ended, she texted me saying that communication between couples was essential, even for issues you want to minimize. With that message, I knew that she was upset. So was I the jerk? I'm particularly interested in what other women may think, as perhaps there's something that I'm overlooking. Thanks. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, and honestly, I could go for some Subway right now. Subway happens to be one of my favorite restaurants, so I may be a little biased, but I don't think it's cool for her to try and dictate where OP eats. I would understand potentially if, like, there was something morally problematic, but if it's just, I think their food and their customer service aren't great, that's a very subjective thing, and it shouldn't have bearing on whether OP eats there or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are certainly conversations to be had about ethics and morality and whatnot, and whether or not Subway is ethical or moral. But in this particular case, it just seems like she doesn't like Subway. I don't think it's reasonable for her to dictate where he eats at, and I don't think that it's reasonable for her to tell him that he can't eat at Subway. He's not dragging her to Subway. It's not like he's bringing Subway home and waving it in her face and being like, yeah, here's my Subway, eating it in front of her, sitting in their bed, eating a pile of Subway.
Well, and like even having Subway in their own home, I would think would be a reasonable thing to do.
I mean, I would think it would be reasonable, but I could see why it would be off-putting if someone is really that despises it that much. So I don't blame OP, and I don't think that OP did anything wrong in this situation. I think that she's acting very, very unreasonably.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I messed up by checking on my boyfriend in the middle of the night. Last night, my boyfriend and I went to bed relatively early as we had plans to go skiing today. Unfortunately, he has a habit of sleep talking. Around 2:30 a.m., he woke me up with the most deviant, creepy laugh that I've ever heard him do. He then woke up and left the room. My heart was beating fast, so I couldn't fall asleep. After about 10 minutes or so, I got up to check on where he went. I thought that he had gotten up because he couldn't sleep or he wasn't feeling well. I walked over to the guest room where I saw the light on. I expected to open the door to see him on the bed with his phone. What I did not expect was to see him standing facing the closet, in a complete trance, eating a large piece of jerky from the dehydrator with nothing but underwear on. I opened the door in shock, half asleep, just watching him with my hand over my mouth. After about 30 seconds, he gasped, screamed, and yelled, "How long have you been there?" I went to the bedroom and I got back to bed. I couldn't stop laughing at what I saw. He was so embarrassed that I found him doing this, and he begged me to forget what I saw. All right, folks, what do you think of this story?
It's a nice lighthearted one to finish out the episode on.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand him being a little embarrassed by this, but I don't think that there's anything embarrassing about sleepwalking or sleep talking. And, it's just one of those situations where he probably was asleep. He didn't really understand what he was doing at the time, and he was just doing something weird.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And sometimes our bodies do weird things when we're sleeping. And yeah, it's not like you choose to do it. Not that
Hmm.
it would be like anything wrong if you wanted to go eat a piece of jerky in the middle of the night anyway, necessarily. But sleepwalking, it happens. Sleep eating happens.
Yeah. And apparently, walking to Narnia in your underwear also happens. Because he's standing in the closet,
Oh.
the wardrobe. I don't know. I was just being funny. I thought I was being funny, but apparently not. And I have. I don't know how I'm going with that. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
How did the bunny praise their little one?
The bunny praised their little one by telling them that they did a good job, and then they went to the store and bought them blue metal bunny food, and then they gave them the bunny food, and that's how they praised them.
Possum job.
Possum?
Paw. Paw.
Oh, I thought you said possum like the animal. I'm like, well, possums have nothing to do with rabbits. Did I mishear this joke?
No, possum
I see,
job.
I see. Like a lucky rabbit's foot.
No.
And I have Mega Mint. And we're sitting over there horrified. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy spectacular Saturday. I can't believe it. It's almost time for the live stream tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see you then. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it an engraving on a bracelet.
Wholesome family relationships aren't weird.
Wholesome family relationships aren't weird. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.